The Halo universe is filled with wonder, mystery, and fascinating discoveries around every corner. With so much to explore, four friends decided it was about time that they booted up their consoles and discussed this universe that has grabbed their attention since childhood. JumperScape Audio kindly welcomes you to join them in the library.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the library.
We should have all done it.
Where we talk about Halo lore for 99 episodes and now number 100. Woo!
100.
Me, James, and Connor got the memo.
Shane did.
We're all wearing our jumper merch, the ones that no one else can have.
Except Shane.
What are you wearing today, Shane? Like, what's that?
Oh, is that Versace?
Is that Louis?
No. No. It's
Repping the 237. Ooh. It's not actually 237 merch. It's just a Michael Myers shirt.
What do you want from me?
I was listening to what you were saying. You were answering.
What are you wearing?
What are you wearing?
What are you wearing? Tell
What
us.
are you wearing?
I think like Levi jeans and a Paxton shirt.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
and, and a Cleveland Cavaliers hat.
I have an installation 00.
He's Baggins maxing.
I'm not wearing all black.
If it was a night vision, you would be.
I kind of, I guess. I
have no idea
I
what
think
you guys
you're
are-
closer to it other than the hat.
I'm Baggins maxing.
Anyway, my friends, we have survived 100 episodes of this show. Almost 2 years since the show started.
Yeah. I don't like that.
I like
weird
it.
to think about.
I'm proud.
From a show that started as just a quick, everyone in Tarkov, a Halo story, has no idea who Abaddon. It's Abaddon.
I still barely do.
Yeah. Oh, come on, man. He's the organon that operates the domain and lives within it, but also without it.
Since last week I was composed. Now that I'm back, does that mean I've decomposed?
No. No, it doesn't. That sword did blow up, though.
We now have Promethean Connor.
Promethean Connor. I need fan art immediately.
Oh my god. Someone's going to make Promethean Connor.
Like Promethean soldier holding a gravity hammer. This is humanity's best.
I will get immediately triggered.
Can we get fan art of the couch set up and then just make Connor a brute, make me an elite, and I'll just make them Spartans, I guess.
No, I want to be a forge monitor.
Oh,
I'm gonna be like a Promethean brute hybrid or something.
This
just
is
make Shane a meal.
I was going to say, this is just a meal.
That's fine.
It would be fantastic. Plus, like, it wouldn't be even the first time we got a random thing. Remember that one time that someone made an animation about your evil Master Chief?
That was my favorite. I eat babies.
It was amazing.
You eat babies. Everybody knows that.
So we have been here for so very long. And today's episode is about us because the show has been around for a good while and a lot of folks are coming in and they don't actually know a whole lot about us. There are some good few people that actually have very little idea of where this show came from, why it is here, and one particular question has been floating around amongst various different people and different VCs. Where did a certain original fourth host go? And why isn't he here?
I'm so happy we're addressing this because I'm tired of just bouncing around the question.
We don't get asked about it too often.
Yeah.
It's mainly longtime listeners will just kind of ask randomly.
Yep.
Some people still ask, "Is he ever going to come back?"
Yep. But
If you haven't figured it out yet, no.
But we're going to talk about that in a second. Just to get you set up for what today is going to be. We're going to address some fun things that haven't really been talked about, even the fate of the unnamed show that some of you have been asking about that we don't know what you're talking about.
I don't recall doing another show except for the slush.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about the future of JumperScape and where it's going to go post-Halo. And answering a couple other questions as well as, sort of just telling more about us as hosts and where things have been going in the background. But before all that, I'm going to do this as quickly as possible. JumperScape.com if you want to get plugged into the community. Go to glitchenergy.com, spell with a Y, and use the code Connor141 spelled.
CONNOR141.
And if you want to get yourself something nice there, you can use that code, get us a little bit closer to getting our own flavor of anything. Go to Chatternet if you want to watch something daily. Go to Halo Lo-Fi to watch that on YouTube. And otherwise, Battle Dudes is one of the greatest channels ever made. Anyway.
Again, because I said it really fast, Connor, CONNOR 141.
You said your N-soul's too close together.
It's my name. I do what I want.
So, along with that, we didn't get anything in the P.O. Box today. But if you wanted to send something to us through the P.O. Box, address it to JumperScape Media LLC or address it to one of our names. We'll know who goes to what. 1122 P.O. Box 1122 in Massillon, Ohio 44648. And we'll get it there. It should be popping up right now on screen for those who are on YouTube. So there you go. Also looking forward to not only going through the Patreon list and burning through as many of the library Q&A questions as possible, but also, if you guys forgot, because I'm sure that somebody did, the reviews have been gone because we only read the reviews on the last episode of every season now. Only go through them then, because it was getting really annoying seeing people having to delete their previous reviews. It's really screwing up the system. So we're going to go through the reviews that we've missed out on, address them, and have some fun interacting with you guys who have been listening for so very long. Real quick, as a fun little activity, I would like to see if we can point out as many of the OG listeners as we possibly can who are still listening to this day. And it's got to start with Dustin.
Dusty.
Oh, I mean, he's been there since the Halo post days.
Yep. Back when I had 400 followers.
Yes.
Gosh, he's the OG. Shout out to our diver friend.
Our diver friend.
Let's call out a couple more. We used to have that one guy who claimed to be our number one fan and then disappeared.
That was short-lived.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Right now, I'm confident in saying that Keith is our number one fan.
I do love Keith.
He interacts with everything.
He's
He's the name I always see in the server.
I want to say for a while it was Kyle, but now Kyle is us.
He's not a fan. He's part of the team.
He got added to the team. He was one of the OGs.
Because he was.
I randomly sometimes I'll think of Guyver and how he was on that BS game show with us.
Yeah.
Good times.
I barely scrolled up, and there he is.
Yeah, Keith. Yeah. Shout out to Guyver, honestly. Guyver and Keith are both among. They make jokes back and forth to each other about which one of them is older, but they're our oldest listeners, and they are
that we know of.
Yeah, I guess. They're super
Grandpa
chill.
could be out there.
So much fun to have in the community. They add such a unique perspective to all of the conversations that we have, because they just have different life experiences. And that's what we really love about this whole community, is how many different experiences there are that are being brought to the forefront there. Especially from Lego. I like it when Lego pops into our community, because he first of all, French. Second of all, he has this, because of where he is, he gets this really annoying access to things that you can't find in the Halo community anymore. Like, he found Poncho Master Chief for basically $10. The little figure. You can't find that on eBay
kind of
right
insane.
now. Yeah.
That's kind of insane.
It's a rare figure.
Because we never got him in Halo 5.
No. That's even funnier. Yeah, I forget about that. Poncho Chief went hard.
Because Poncho Chief did go hard. Because for a while, when you first seen him, everyone's I remember watching the trailer, we're like, that's not Chief. And then you see the AI, Cortana's AI chip, and they're like, oh, okay, and you can see the other, his forearm, his gloves, and like, okay, this might be John Chief.
Yeah, he was ore farming.
Yeah, even though you think of it lore wise, and you're like, why is Chief wearing a poncho and Mjolnir armor?
He wanted to keep the sand out of his visor. He doesn't have windshield wipers.
They actually do.
Huh?
Visors, they have a way to clean off the visor.
I think he wanted
news to me.
I think he wanted to remain anonymous.
He was aura farming. He was. Connor was right.
It'd be really fun. The Guardian's like, take off that hood. He's like, oh man, now he knows I have to kill him. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's really difficult to figure out where to start.
I got a member I can shout out.
Huh?
I got a member I can shout out.
What you got?
Dick
Dick Hammerbush. What a strange. We have like these strange people who have just sort of
These strange people.
Yes, their names alone created an inside joke.
I will never understand. Like
He's been around for a minute.
I've thought about it. I do not understand why I just went, yeah, the one time.
You just latched onto him.
I think we just laughed at his name so hard during the first time it was read.
It's sort of like what happened with Lactating Gator.
Yeah.
Which is the only time that I'm going to address this in this episode. And we're going to move on. He's still around. He's one of our mods. He just doesn't do much.
I miss him.
All of our mods, for the most part, are not expected to be active all the time. And because of that, I'm like, hey, guys, can you be here for a meeting? And they're like, yeah, sure. Meeting time, one person shows up. Like, man, we already had the expectation they wouldn't do much, but can I kick them for this?
We have a good server.
Yeah, we have a good server. I don't often need their help to manage things, but it is helpful when I'm just like, hey, guys, can I get an announcement for this going live today? Hey, guys, can you ban him? They don't have to ban anybody. They've never banned anyone.
Plus, we're on there enough as it is to moderate it.
Yeah, it's very helpful to not be doing this by myself, which is almost how this show was. This show was almost 100% just me. I would have gotten at least 5 listeners.
There is one episode of just him.
And that one actually did great. I'm not going to lie, but that was way later. Like, people
If it was just you sitting in front of your computer microphone spitballing, who knows?
No, because like the funny thing, the funny thing,
So unprofessional.
I'm pretty sure the microphone didn't even catch that. And if it didn't, then we'll know that our interview is going to go great with Jeremy Patanode. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure I advertised that it was going to happen this weekend. No, the episode with Jeremy Patanode, Simon & Schuster, they need time to approve episodes, so it'll probably be a little bit before the episode actually goes live. But when it does, it's Empty Throne, good book, read it, find it now, buy it. It's really good. Anyway, I would have screwed this up so bad by myself because straight up, I only got into the books like probably a couple months before I started the show, and I had no idea about Halo lore. Actually, I was brand new to this. Nowadays, I've gotten so deep into it, and I've talked to folks, and I have YouTube videos playing in the background all the time. I'm trying to expand my knowledge all the time.
Is it possible that there was a time where my addiction to watching Halo lore videos, I actually knew more than you?
I was quite confident that that you and Shane actually knew more than me for like the first whole 25 episodes.
But I'm uninformed and willing to learn.
I was very confident about that.
Yeah, hammers are pretty
was
cool.
that mine?
Because you approved it.
I think the thing is, when this show started, I think that was probably my lowest point in terms of Halo interest.
We were broken.
Unfortunately.
We were broken.
Like, I wanted to do it because I love doing like little creative things. But I was like not even really that much into Halo at the time. But it's definitely ebbed and flowed. But now it's like kind of just ingrained into my like personality because like, you know, I tell people I do this show, so I gotta know my Halo.
You know what's actually crazy is that this show is the reason why JumperScape exists, period.
Yeah.
Because it's straight up. This is how it started, right? Conversation with my mom at her house. I'm just visiting for a little bit. And I'm like, okay, so I have this show dropping, but I want to make it as professional as possible because I was already a media communications graduate, so I was trying to figure out a way to make it so this is the most high quality show that the Halo community has ever seen. And I was just talking to my mom, and I'm like, I don't want it to be something that's just, here's the show. I needed to be representing something. I need to make like a group, you know, like a company or something. And I'm like, I just don't know what to name it. Like, I want it to be backing Tarkov, a Halo story primarily, so that I can actually sound impressive when I'm talking to people about the shows. So what do? I'm thinking like, you know, the thing that's going through my mind right now, this is a legit conversation. This is not me ad-libbing. I was like, the thing that's going through my mind right now is Hell Jumper Soundscape. But like, that's too many syllables. This is too much. She just turns around and goes, JumperScape. I'm like, it's just a mind-blowing moment.
And it has a ring. It could mean anything. It's not exclusively Halo related. Like, it can mean anything.
Yep. But JumperScape means Sergeant Tarkov. That is basically what the whole name is referencing to. And it grew from there. It didn't actually become a legitimate company until a full year after the show
The
started.
Coca and Cola stands for cocaine, and they don't have that in there anymore.
What does the COLA stand for?
Cola. That's the kind of drink it is.
Cocaine cola.
Cocaine.
Yeah. That's
It is. It is. That's it.
I wonder if that recipe is still good.
I want to
Like,
find out.
I'd try it.
immediately.
probably.
Call it pre-workout.
I bet I've had pre-workout stronger.
All right, real quick, tell me what you guys had for breakfast.
I'm currently
Nothing.
eating pizza pre-workout.
Cheese sticks and beef sticks.
I love how
Connor
he has
is
no
gonna
idea what we're referencing.
Connor, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
Cheese sticks and beef sticks with a small chunk of bread.
What would you do if you didn't have that for breakfast?
Oh yeah, and an energy drink.
Yeah, what would you do if you didn't have that for breakfast?
Be hungry and tired.
He passed it.
Okay.
You can say anything you want about Connor. He is not an AI. He's not an NPC.
We didn't generate him.
I saw an AI in a comment section today. It was a hypothetical about like what if you had to do like it was like 4 different scenarios of getting like chased or hunted by different dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And then like I open the comments, it's like, and someone just says, dinosaurs don't exist.
Yeah.
Don't like they're extinct. And I'm like, but it's a hypothetical.
Yeah, it's honestly really easy to spot the bots these days. It's honestly sometimes it's not. Sometimes you got to click on their profile and you're like, oh, that's not a real person. We
The
actually
amount of AI generated profile pictures I've been seeing on X,
Mhm.
I feel like half of X's like user base is just AIs. and
Straight up,
bots.
You people real or not?
What I've decided is a lot of the arguments that I find online that are basically getting a rise out of me are just fake people. Just trying to make an argument happen. And what's even worse, my least favorite thing, we get likes from bots.
Yeah.
I get a like and I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know who this person is.
Engagement?
And I
No.
also made this post 6 months ago. What are they doing?
You're being stalked by someone's burner account.
I check. It's just a fake OnlyFans bot account.
It's like Sam, a bunch of numbers and letters.
Yeah.
binary.
So-
Sam underscore binary.
Samuel. Sorry. Anyway.
So the library.
So the library.
It started with us in front of our own computers,
Yes.
recording on on Audacity.
Not me.
Okay, not you.
Not
Me and Shane on Audacity. Austin probably on Audition,
and
and
Bryant
Bryant
was,
on some.
he was
thing.
using Gold Wave, which was a very old software. Fun fact about Gold Wave, okay?
I forgot about it.
Gold Wave is
Our actual first episode doesn't exist.
yes, the actual first episode doesn't exist. A couple episodes that we originally recorded don't exist. So Gold Wave was one of our first struggles that we had on the show was because Bryant didn't realize it. I didn't know either, but he didn't realize that his software could be set to specifically restrict how long a recording is. I don't know any software that does that, so I was really surprised by that. But basically, sometimes he would forget to take that limiter off, and it would record only like 20 minutes and then shut off automatically. So a whole episode would go out the window. We would have to re-record it that same night.
With a lot less enthusiasm.
Yeah, I think that actually did that happen on a guest episode one time.
The group,
Yeah, it did.
the group chats were fun to watch.
Wasn't that
Yes.
November Black?
It was November. It was one of the early.
Well, we had to
guests.
re-record.
Yeah.
I think it was November Black.
Yeah.
Didn't we just record it anyway?
Yeah,
we
and
just
he
release it
just no. I specifically went through and I basically systematically removed him from the episode because his conversation, like his conversation didn't apply. Like it did. I cut out portions of the conversation where they were directly addressing him because he had no dialogue. So they were just talking to no one.
I thought I remember
forgot all about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
That's crazy.
That was one of our first major challenges. Was just that.
We should start like doing. I guess not so much like a catalog, but like
Catalog on Chatternet.
just something. Plug. Just like we get a notepad out. If we say something fun, like we get a big journal. We say so. We do the episode number, the date, and then like we look over the timestamp. Connor said something funny here. And like we like put like we do like a brief summary of it, and at the end of like every season we go through it, and like, oh my god, I remember that now.
just to remember these random moments.
Yeah.
See, I would love that. Do you know what I would love even more? If people listen to the show start making compilations for us.
Oh, so you just want them to do it for us?
Just do it for us. Because like that would make it so much easier.
Someone just please do it. Just one.
I'm still waiting on that out of context compilation.
Kyle
gave up.
I can tell.
He gave up. He admitted it.
Oh, so he's not slack-a-lacking anymore.
Yep, so
he's just done.
someone else needs to take over on the out of context compilation.
The prize is still a guest appearance.
It is still that. It will be really entertaining. And plus, like, one of the funniest parts about the journal idea, Shane, is this concept of we're all laughing and then James just leans forward and write that down.
Write that down.
I can't see the timestamp.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
Oh yeah, I should have moved a laptop so we could actually see the screen this
Yeah, we
time.
did the thing where we...
yeah, we learned something.
Back to the library.
So and here's the thing. The library was our first time trying. I need to clarify that. It was our first time actually trying to make some form of business venture. Sure, it's a podcast, but as media has grown over the last couple of years, I think a lot of people have come to understand that podcasts are the new thing. Everyone listens to them. I'm quite positive that podcasts influenced this presidential cycle.
Oh, yeah.
So they control a lot of things. Podcasts are the thing. And so having one was a nice, simple way to get into media, making it for ourselves and trying to make something of ourselves, especially in the case of trying to become more recognizable in name and face, people to start recognizing us. And that's sort of I think that's the goal for pretty much anybody who's trying to get into any form of media, be it YouTube, be it TV, movies, anything like that. Your goal is to get known out there. And this was just the most realistic thing at the time because I was fresh out of college and these guys were doing their work /school / figuring their own lives out, and this was the easiest way for us to be able to, no matter the distance, because we started the show with me in Texas and them still here in Ohio. So
down in Ohio,
that was the biggest thing, was me moving back to Ohio allowed this to happen.
Sometimes I realize how long I've been on here because I realized I graduated while I was on this show.
Yes, you did.
Wow.
I'm very proud of you for that.
I'm proud too.
But yeah, the show was our first business venture. It was the first one that we took super seriously. The conversations that we've had around this show, its goals and all of that, have been so very different because our first real project was Battle Dudes. But that wasn't, I was kind of trash at making content. And so it would get one episode per year, maybe at that. And granted, those were great nights in my basement.
Austin, please.
Watching the latest episode of Battle Dudes.
Battle Dudes episode, please.
And then I made 4 episodes in like a week and we realized we could do this.
It was nice because by the time that you would finish the episode, I had forgotten pretty much everything that happened during that play session.
And we had forgotten all the other videos that were made, so we would rewatch all of them.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we go onto Battle Dudes YouTube channel, spelled DOODS, by the way. And nowadays, I can go back and watch episodes from just a couple of years ago, and I've completely forgotten what happens in them. It's really entertaining. But even then, Battle Dudes is straight up like the lowest form of effort is applied to it because it's supposed to just be this fun little thing for us to do during our free time. The library, though, where things changed a lot. You have to be here on time. You have to be here for when we have a guest. You have to be engaged. All these different things about like how are we going to handle the show? How are we going to handle being presenters and hosts? And what sort of characteristics do we want to really make clear about ourselves? It's a very, anything in production requires this deep thought. Now I segue this into what happened to Brian. I don't remember a whole lot of what happened because I purposefully removed a lot of it from my memory. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was on good terms, which is unfortunate. These guys remember better than I do, though, so I'll let them do this.
So I'm going to piggyback off of kind of how you set that up, because I think that's a good way to set it up. Ultimately, what it came down to was not having the same vision or drive for what the show was supposed to be.
Priorities were not aligned.
Yes. I'd say that was probably a problem from the get-go, so it led to just, I'll call them scheduling conflicts.
I mean, there was also that, but we had a different vision and a different idea of what we needed to be doing at the time. Like with I'm gonna try to be just kind of like as vague as I possibly can here. There was a mindset that we had that while we were doing this, and like eventually we wanted to get to a certain point, but we knew just starting off, we knew where we were and where our standards were and what we needed to expect from a feedback standpoint, and like James said, scheduling, and like why are we currently doing this? For the most part, I mean, at the time being, this was 100% just for something fun for us to do together, and maybe like, hey, we'll see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And that vision wasn't exactly shared. To be completely, just upfront, the vision wasn't aligned, and that's okay. But that's kind of why it got to a point where we felt like this needs to happen for the sake of like our relationship with you. And if we want to act, because we care about this, and I believe he did as well, but just the priorities and what the show was meant to be at the time it wasn't aligned with all of us, and at that point, it was a recipe for disaster.
Because I would say the way I would illustrate it is very early on, while we had a vision and we had a goal, he already looked at it like work. Yeah. Rather than something we're enjoying doing together.
I wanted to say that, but I didn't exactly want to, but that's exactly.
Well, like I need to be careful how I word this, because it's like I see how that could have happened. I see how that thought could have popped into his head.
Yeah.
That's why I can't exactly throw any kind of shade or blame. It's just like I said, like you said, priorities didn't align.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
But at the end of the day, what ended up happening was an agreement was reached that he would basically come as he pleased. That quickly got flipped on its head and led to a moment where we had to part ways 100%.
And to clarify, I'm the one that did that.
Yes.
I kicked him off the show.
I would say during the whole process, I wasn't really involved as much. I did say a few things here and there, but it really seemed like he couldn't change. Like he couldn't adapt. He was too set in his own ways.
Yeah. So Connor was there to see all this happen. And I think that's why it took us so long to get to addressing this, is we're people. Bryant's a person. This was more of a personal life thing than a JumperScape
This
thing.
was not a business thing.
Because he and I were very close. The closest out of everybody else here. We were very close. And I might have kicked him off the show, but he's the one that left.
I barely... Well, here's the thing. If you remember, it wasn't even supposed to be permanent.
Mm-mm.
It was supposed to be a temporary thing, like, hey, like, we need to maybe talk, and, we need to... Because it did get to a point where it felt somewhat confrontational, unfortunately, where we're like, okay, me, James, and Austin had a vision, and so did he, but where we were at was not aligning with where he wanted this to be and what it needed to be for him to deem it worthwhile to be here.
And I want to clarify, his expectations are very realistic. He was upset about the fact that, because we would pull him aside for conversations about if he was late for an episode or anything like that. And he would say, he hadn't gotten a lot of sleep that previous night, so he couldn't join. And that all makes sense. I have no issue with that. That was why the whole conversation about removing him from the show was because it wasn't just about, I'm picking the show over you. It was, I want to make sure that you're not upset with us for trying to be on the show, and that you're not potentially hurting yourself just to be on it. So I was on the phone with him almost every night for a week about it.
I mean, as I said, it was a tentative agreement of, hey, this isn't working for you right now. You can come and go as you please. Like, you don't have to be there every week. If it happens in a lineup, you can be there, was the original consequence / resolution.
Yeah.
Because we while we were still early in this, we did want to maintain some type of a consistency. Hey, on this day, we're going to we're going to try to begin at this time, or at least close to it. And then, like James said, to him, it started to look more like work for him. And that's kind of where things kind of really started taking a downward spiral. And that's where we started to deviate. Like me, James, and Austin are over here. He's this way. We're just That's just kind of how it's going, because it didn't feel like work. Now, does it feel like more of a responsibility? Absolutely, because we've grown so much. But at the time, we were still like, it was still, and don't get me wrong, like we're still doing this for the fun of it, and like this is like our main time that we all four get to hang out with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a highlight.
Because ultimately,
Mhm.
yes, this is a responsibility, but it's still fun, and we still choose to do it rather than like have to do it.
Yep.
Is this paying our bills? No, we do it because we love it.
Yeah,
That's essentially what comes down to.
Yep.
and that's again without giving going into too much context. Again, that's where we started to deviate to be relatively upfront.
I think it's fair to say I do wish that it didn't mean the friendship. Me personally, you guys can.
Yeah,
I
no,
personally.
without going, I would have preferred it not to. But I mean, he did make his stance clear. I was pretty at that point. I was pretty shocked to see like that's where he kind of wanted to go with it, where it was taken that personally for him, and it wasn't intended to be.
I understand why it was taken personally. I just wish it wasn't brought that
Yeah.
up.
I mean, I want to say I understand, but I truly don't, because we made it perfectly clear. It wasn't
he was an entertaining guy to talk about with stuff that whenever we would have late night conversations
Right.
about what's going on with ourselves. Every person is complicated. So
And and I think that's what we should end it with is at the end of the day, we're all people.
Mhm.
We all do people things.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, what happened there was not a JumperScape thing, was not a podcast thing. It was a people thing. And that's why we didn't address it as directly for the longest time.
Well, because it was I'm sure everyone listening and watching can respect this. This was a relatively personal matter, but it's gotten to the point where enough time has passed and so many people have asked at this point where we feel like we could be a little bit more transparent now. But we did not want to we didn't want to stir the pot, because again, we were just trying to grow.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
If we were that on it with telling the whole story, and we're still not.
No,
obviously.
there's more to it that we'll
Got to keep some of it like to
yes,
ourselves.
because again, this was not a business thing. This was not a podcast. This was a very personal issue that was brewing for some time at this point.
But it would have felt retaliatory at the time.
Oh my
yeah.
God, yeah.
Because now it feels more just clearing the air, getting it off our chest. Part of me feels like feels a little bad that I know he can't be here to defend himself or say his side.
I know
of
that
things.
he would have very select words if he was hearing this.
And that's kind of why I'm pleading just to put it out there that there are always two sides to a story. This is our perspective.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it went. I think I told it about as in the middle as I can take it, as I can tell it from being literally involved in
I
it.
agree. Connor?
I like where I sit.
Now that's the thing I wanted to ask about your.
We got Connor out of it
because here's the thing. I don't quite remember the decision-making process and all of this, but originally it was going to stay as just us three. But then something changed and Connor got in there.
Connor was there for that one recording with the Kratos thing happening, and he just kind of sporadically would be there just to hang out because I guess you didn't have anything else to do.
Honestly, I just want to come down and just see what it's like. What's the process? What's the setup?
And I think we invited him as a Terminals guest one time.
Yes, to introduce him.
Yeah. I think that was his second Terminals that we were like, you are going to be a host.
There was one where he was online with Discord.
Yeah.
Because he was in the episode, he was in the Discord channel, just sort of sitting there on mute. And then we had him on Terminals afterwards.
I'm just sitting there, I'm like, good episode.
That was the thing that, and I, I'll make this a whole thing, Connor. You are genuinely one of the most fascinating creatures to me. Okay, because
Emphasis on creature.
because these guys had a setup. These guys knew exactly what they were getting into, and they understood exactly what the goal was, and I know why they are doing this. You just sort of showed up.
I was just here to have a good time.
And that was the wildest thing to me, is you are one of the most passionate people that I've ever seen work on something that they have no idea about.
It's fun to learn in some areas.
So just an appreciation there. I'm glad that we were able to get a fourth back because I think it was a little weird for people to just suddenly be like, 3 friends decided that it was about time that they put up there.
I remember when you had asked like the people or the patron at the time, you're like, what would you guys think about a 4th member? And they're like, oh yeah, we think you'd fill the gap. I think it'd be great.
Yep. Specifically asked if what would they think about you joining?
I remember hearing that like,
Were they
Sweet.
expecting comedic relief? No. No, but that's what they got.
That's what they got.
they were expecting a basically a new audience surrogate. But
like, honestly, I'm nowhere near as knowledgeable as Halo as you guys.
Mhm.
I like Halo. I love it too. But I love other games.
that's the thing, though. That's why so many people enjoy you. I've seen the comments. I've seen people talk about you.
Mhm.
They like you for the fact that you don't know what this is.
Like earlier, like you popped the whole trebuchet thing. I went and looked it up. I don't even think the brutes were there.
No, they weren't. Operation Trebuchet was a strictly human thing where basically Oni went out and killed as many insurrectionists as possible around the galaxy.
Yeah, I looked it up. I'm like, got me.
And that's the thing. There's because here's what I heard firsthand, right, from a VC. We were just talking about the show, and someone ended up talking about you. And they were like, I know about as much as Connor does. And I love that I can relate to Connor in that way.
What makes it really fun is we did a Kahoot. We did Kahoot one
Yes.
time, and I'm beating people. I was showing up on the leaderboard first. Those moments where I'm like, come on, what are y'all doing? That is so fun for me because I get to have that small window of opportunity of, hey, I know something. It's not nothing. And then we get further along and then we realize where I'm at.
Yep. It's really entertaining. That's the thing that I love is seeing growth. Which, speaking of growth, this show has seen a ton of it. Like a ton of it. First year, 63,000 people chose to listen to our show.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. You know who listened last year? 247,000 people.
That's like even
like-
more people.
That's like
Yeah.
247. That's about.
That's about 247,000
No, that's about-
people.
No, it's about two. No, that's about 2.5 Ohio State stadiums filled at record capacity.
Yeah, a lot of people listen to this show, and it continuously grows. Actually, JumperScape as a whole just hit 25,000 monthly listeners.
I got nothing.
Whoa.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what stadiums hold.
The library makes up
Rocket Mortgage
20,000
Fieldhouse.
of that,
Cap Stadium.
just in case you missed it.
Let's say it again.
The library makes up 20,000 of that. One show makes up 4/5 of what our
We're the
overall
library. We talk about hollow lore.
yeah.
Yeah, we know about the Hulu.
But that's the thing.
Blue.
I think that we have interacted with the community in such a way that has been wholly unique. For those of you who haven't seen our social media presence, who haven't seen our Discord, anything like that, you haven't seen that almost every single content creator is in our server. We have Hidden Xperia, we have Installation 00, we have General Kid, we have Halo Follower. Everyone's in that server. More importantly, you can tag them, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to reply. Hidden Xperia, not so much.
How about to say one?
It's not Hidden Xperia, but a lot of them will reply. And it's because this isn't just a front thing. Like, the library is not the only thing that we're doing. In the background, what's happening is I'm talking to as many people as possible. I'm getting as many people interested in what we're doing as possible because of the fact that we are so unrealistic. Because there was a modder, Valkyries, creator of Halo Fracture Strog. I've already glazed that mod so much because it's so freaking good and it's really, really fun. I DM'd this mod creator. I was like, hey, is there anything that I can do, like anything that JumperScape can do to make your mod better before you release it? And he's like, yeah, I mean, I guess I could use voice actors. At this time, I had over 100 voice actors to my disposal. So I'm like, I can do that. And he was like, okay, well, how much? I'm like, free. It's like, what do you mean it's free? I'm like, I mean, it's free. What voice actors do you need?
Spread the word. That's all we ask.
And he's
Publicity.
I thought it wasn't for free. I thought it was for a McChicken.
no, I do that personally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was November Black. November Black, I did a lot of different graphics and design for them, and they
I
sent
just
me.
remembered the McChickens at HCS.
Yeah,
Oh my-
they sent me a total of 5 McChickens.
Unironically, I'm sorry, we're gonna swerve after you just said that. Unironically, one of my favorite things we've ever done is hand out McChickens at HCS. We had
If you were at HCS and you remember McChickens and this is the first time you're hearing us, that was us.
Yeah.
we stayed at the bottom of the escalator, like by the main entrance of the convention center, and we each maybe had like 2 or 3. Connor maybe 5 or 6 McChickens.
I
had
definitely
one.
had
I
upwards
had
to
2.
7 or 8, I think.
Oh my God.
I like McChickens.
I had 3.
But then basically we took whatever was left, gave some to our little entourage, I guess you could say, of our great little fans that we had following us. Then when they were like, yeah, we're done, we just started handing them out to random people because convention center food expensive.
Yeah.
And Seattle in general expensive.
Don't forget the security staff.
We
Yep.
fed the
They
entire
loved
security
us.
staff.
We fed the entire security. Not to toot our own horn, but we steal from the rich and give it to the poor.
It helped that we had
McDonald's.
I mean,
it helped that we
Steal. Buy.
So we gave to the rich.
it helped that we had a branded ODST walking around with us. Shout
We
out to
did.
Flyboy.
Flyboy.
Flyboy Fife.
Because
Yeah.
What a fly guy.
It was so funny. We even have pictures of him getting coffee at a cafe in full armor.
Just him looking at the menu like,
It just
made
felt-
my day. Or, no, and he walked up to the fridge and he's just,
It was so just something out of a picture to see.
It was great.
No, it
reminded
was-
me of that picture of the Master Chief cosplayer at McDonald's,
Yes.
just sitting at the table.
Yeah, dude, that was definitely one that I was kind of sitting there. I'm like, wow, we're really like, I don't know. It just felt weird to me in a good way. In a good way, it felt weird in a good way.
What other highly requested library-related lore questions do we have?
At one point, we had a second show.
Oh
Huh?
boy, we're going here.
We did?
Have you guys
No,
ever...
we still have a second show, Room 237, a horror films podcast.
I meant like all
Fridays
4
at
of us.
noon.
Yes, but I meant all 4.
Oh.
So, friends, I got you. Remember.
Oh.
Remember that
Welcome
time-
to Get On the Podcast.
Whoa,
I'm James.
get
I'm
on.
Austin.
I'm Shane.
I'm Connor.
We're going to talk about random things about gaming culture and also have no idea what we're going to talk about every week before we start.
Nope, none at all.
This show,
Never planned.
it sucks because I want to say, and I mean this, I don't mean this in like a bad way by any means, but I had way more fun doing Get On than I do the library, just because it was spontaneous and just super like.
There was no structure.
Yeah, that was the problem though.
Yeah,
there wasn't any structure.
The real
to it.
problem, and the reason it's gone, is you didn't listen to it.
Wow.
Very direct.
Genuinely one of the main reasons,
I'm
actually.
kidding. I'm not kidding, but I'm also kidding.
Yeah, because library was out here pulling, the thousands and thousands of listens. On a good day, Get On would pull 100 listens.
It wasn't niche enough. If you guys look up like gaming podcast anywhere, there's millions of options, and we weren't niche enough. Like we would cover anything from drama to new releases, content creators. I think we've talked about a few. Basically anything along those lines. And we didn't discuss anything beforehand. We kind of just got on and did our little intro.
podcast.
Yep. You know how much it sucks whenever we say get on now and they're like, get on? What do you mean? And we're like, yeah, I don't know. Like, oh, that sounds like a stupid podcast name. Or like we have to just downplay it pretty much.
I also want to stress that when I say I am just kidding about the listenership, yes, that the listenership was a factor, but it's more of a math formula of time we spend making it to listenership.
It wasn't worth it. to be-
Making 3 or 4 shows a week was starting to affect me.
It added to his workload.
Yep.
For something that wasn't worth it, we did our little annual meeting, and it was basically like, okay, is anyone able to like put the time in to edit it or want to edit the episodes and get it up? And I'm working full time and a full time college student, so like I'm strapped for time as it is, and any little free time, like I want to relax and spend time with family and friends. So I'm like, yeah, I can't take it on. Connor said he couldn't, James couldn't, and we all kind of just determined it was best just to kind of let it ride off into the sunset without a proper goodbye. So this is as close to a goodbye as it's going to get. It really is.
Speaking of goodbye,
What?
Oh, okay.
I'm not leaving forever, but
Oh, that.
I figure this would be a good time to say May 1st will be my tentative last episode of the library.
Mm-hmm.
I have a opportunity over the summer that I'm very excited about. So I will not be in the area, basically. I will still try to appear. Maybe I'll be composed for a few episodes over the summer.
Thank you for making that joke, Connor.
That would be the hope. I'll have to get a webcam so I can actually do that.
I can give you a good recommendation.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll figure something out. But I will be, for the most part, absent for a little while. But I don't want to miss out on too much, so I'm going to try to make at least a few appearances over the summer. And for any of my 237 listeners, I'll announce that on there too.
Cool.
That show will also go on hiatus over the summer. That's me. That's my future.
Yep. You know, you could take over terminals.
Just talk about things.
Yeah,
in
just
my
talk
room.
about how your life is going. People, it's like the away show. It's sort of like how there was the much more popular sitcom A Different World.
Day one, away from the library.
Yeah.
I'm stranded on this strange peninsula.
Yeah, just kind of talk about how things are going, because then you can keep folks updated while you're away from the show.
I'll still be around. You'll still hear from me, but
We'll be in the Discord,
In the
probably
Discord.
game nights.
I will be here less,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yes. Okay, so we've covered that. We've covered a good amount of things now. Let's see, what else could we empty? Because there's a couple other ideas, but it's about whether or not now is the time. You know what I'm saying?
We hit everything major, I think.
Almost. How about?
How
What's-
about I go turn on Raw and pause it real quick?
Fun fact: we also really love WWE. Go take a look.
Okay, I'll pause it and be right back.
Say,
Will it let you since it's not 8?
I think I can turn it on, like it'll be like continue watching. By the time I get it on, it'll be starting.
say any more humdingers we got? Because we had quite a few there.
What do you say?
Humdingers.
Oh,
Big topics.
So, what's next for JumperScape? You know what I'm saying?
Coming soon to video and DVD.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD, video and Sue's and video and DVD.
The CD
Shout out
was
if you know what
scratched.
we just referenced. But so here's the thing. We have to make it so very clear all the time. JumperScape is not for Halo. It is right now, but JumperScape is a media company flat out. We're out here to basically be sort of like tie-in authors, but it's a whole company. You know what I mean? Making content for specific franchises, working along with their creators, basically working alongside folks who want to make cool things and enabling them to do those cool things. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. So the concept has been thrown around about what is that next thing. I've taken a couple suggestions. I've done my research. I think I know what I'm going to do next. I think I know what we're going to do next.
What are we doing now?
There's a certain growing community, one that has had a good amount of pretty solid content creators that have been making really unique content. And it has a unique approach to how it handles its player base and how it handles its ever-changing story that the players directly influence. Dun 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 dun. I think the next step will be Helldivers.
I think Helldivers would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But are we going to take the approach of Helldivers news or conspiracy news?
It would be, quite honestly, I would throw a lot of those ideas at you to see what could be done. Because you have the deepest pockets for Helldivers, and you'll do whatever you got to do for that game.
I love Helldivers.
And it's a fun little pick up and play sort of game, but also has so many other deeper aspects to it for its story, especially.
Well, you just look around at the environment and you'll just see little like quick stories that happen, like the soldier that beat the 8-foot automaton with a shovel.
Yep. So
How?
I would much rather us tap into a growing community, see what we can do there before we move on to something else. And so with Halo still being made, like we're still going to work on content for Halo. It's just not going to be our priority. We'll keep on doing the library. We'll keep on doing, whatever Halo content we're working on until we've run out of ideas there. But the next step content is going to be the sort of stuff that we work on. So it's like, what sort of stuff do we make for Helldivers? Do we work with people who are now making machinimas and Helldivers? Do we work with people who are making lore drops? What if we helped the SES, I think they're called, on YouTube, which is a group of content creators that all pretend like they're in the universe. Like there's a mod showcase video. And the way that it's presented is, we have been discovering more Helldivers are bringing these contraband items to the battlefield, and you need to be aware of them so that you don't do it yourself.
My favorite is when someone hacked the sample mission.
Yep.
Like one dude turned in 20 million samples. Like, yeah, we're punishing him and putting him in jail for turning in all these counterfeit samples. Like, that's cool. They went with it.
It's the fact that everything that you do in that game is canon.
Yeah. Yeah, any video clip you see, any funny clip, canon.
Yep. That's why we're doing it. So I think that'll be our next step. This is putting aside any fun side projects ideas like the 3-episode rule that me and Cheyenne are going to be doing at some point. Did we tell you about that one?
No.
Okay, you weren't there for that. I think you were here for it, Connor.
Pretty sure I was here for that.
Yeah, the 3-episode rule. The concept is simple. See, Cheyenne wants me to watch more anime. And so there's this thing that exists called the 3-episode rule.
Don't apply it to One Piece.
You can judge a show by the first 3 episodes.
Not One Piece.
Not One Piece. So the concept would be watching 3 episodes of an anime and then determining whether or not we would still watch it. And going off of that. A very simple show. Not even going to have video episodes. It'll just be recorded down here in the studio, but with basically all the lights off. And just doing the show. It'll be a fun little side thing.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. But if you have more questions about what's going on here at JumperScape and what we've done, feel free to just toss them. We'll be always happy to talk about these sort of things, except for a certain something, which you forget. So,
wait, what about that guy?
Oh, he's also affected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure we remind him.
Yeah.
I forgot something.
Yeah. Here, real quick. Are you guys going to get on later?
Huh? Yeah,
I'm
I'll
gonna
play Xbox.
I'm going to get on my PC.
Okay.
Nothing else. I'll get in my car.
This guy's weird.
Yeah, a little bit. I think that's why people like me. So,
selective memory, back at it again.
We'll answer any questions that you've got. Just toss them into general chat, honestly, for a brief period. I don't think we're going to be very open for very long. But hey, Shane, quick, sit down. Don't go too fast now. Now, Shane.
Yeah.
Thoughts on next steps for JumperScape being Helldivers focused content?
Whoa.
All right, I accept that. I like that. I think that'll be the move.
Whoa.
So now,
I
don't know why I just put this down. We have to pick this back up.
There's a lot of lore to Helldivers.
Yes, there's so much that we can do with it.
They're maintaining the community as much as they possibly can, at least. Oof. No, that'll be interesting.
All right, so, my friends, it's finally time.
Q&A?
Q&A.
Oh, okay. Let me readjust then.
The library was produced and published by JumperScape Audio. Funding was provided by our fantastic patrons on Patreon. If you enjoy the show and wish to support JumperScape's future projects or get some sweet benefits, join our Patreon at patreon.com/JumperScape or become part of this truly special community at discord.gg/JumperScape. Thank you for your listenership, and we hope you enjoyed.